2 slots already guaranteed in the quarterfinals of the African Cup of Nations. Of course, the boys have been separated from the men. The 2023 African Cup of Nations is turning out to be one of the best AFCON ever. We have seen the dramas, the funny clips, of course, and also all the jingles and the upsets at the African Cup of Nations. A competition not recognized by the European calendar, but recognized by us because Africa is our business. I am Onyinyechi Obaro, and you're welcome to our AFCON Express on News Central TV, where we keep you updated on the African Cup of Nations Côte d'Ivoire 2023. I will not be doing this alone in the studio. I've got with me Mendem, as they will call it. I've got Kingsley Akan, or sportscaster, and also Tunde Young, who's a sports reporter. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Well, let's do it again.
That's the hashtag.
Back here to do it again, and I'd like to say that I didn't see this coming. I didn't see a tournament where we'll have Nigerians believe again in the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Nigerians believe again in a team led by Jose Peseiro. I'm calling the name of Jose Peseiro. The last time I was here, we had a back and forth as to the coach's tactical prowess, knows how he sets up his side. But so far, so good. I can give him 9 over 10.
This is one man that did not believe in Peseiro before now. And now we can see a 9 over 10 evaluation today.
Absolutely. I share the same sentiments, actually. I did not think Jose Peseiro had anything to offer us. I still do not, actually.
These guys are against Jose Peseiro.
I'm a Peseiro pessimist to the end. I'm of the opinion that even if he does win us the AFCON, that we should still sack him. Although you cannot deny, 2 things can be true. He has been very good in this AFCON. But also, I don't think 2 weeks of football should override up to 2 years of nothingness. So, in my opinion, I still think that there are better coaches out there. With case in point, Thomas Saint Faith, that just recently left Gambia. For me, I would say that's the best coach for Nigeria. But for now, let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
This really shows that you can't satisfy Nigerians. I can see that.
Maybe I share a different sentiment. Okay. If he wins it, the contract says that if you get to the final, you renew the contract. Let's just honor what's on the paper. And then if he wins it, it should continue. But if he doesn't win it, he can go.
The semi-final berth has been the ultimatum given by the Nigerian Football Federation to Jose Peseiro. Can he hit that mark? One question we're asking right now. You can also join in the conversation. Get to follow our social media platforms at News Central TV. Do not forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Engage the hashtag AFCON Express in the game and game on. A great one. You can also join live by calling in on the show. You can call on our number 07055727272. I say it again, 07055727272. So we'll be waiting for your call and your thoughts on the matches played at the African Cup of Nations. Let's go straight to our AFCON news right now. Confederation of African Football President Dr. Patrice Motsepe is sure serving Africa the very best AFCON ever at the 2023 African Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire. Why do I say so? We can see the numbers. The sports market is booming. A lot of people have got their attention at the African Cup of Nations, and all thanks to one man, Patrice Motsepe. You must love him, Kingsley.
I do, absolutely. Before the tournament started, he said he was going to offer Africa the best AFCON ever. I've been seeing the Africa Cup of Nations, say, from 92, 94, and I can tell you that I don't think any Africa Cup of Nations has really, captured my passion. Before now, if you have the big boys leave the tournament at the start of it, it takes something away from the tournament. But right now, we don't care. Any team can get eliminated. The other teams are really, really saving us. Let's not forget also the kind of investment that have been made, at this tournament. CAF also increased the prize winning money, 7 million for the winners. I think 4 million second, 2.5 third, 1.3 for fourth place winners. The last Copa America in 2021 did not have this amount of money. So that should tell you that we are just behind them, the Europeans. Talk about the host. I think they invested $1 billion on getting new facilities. I think 2 new stadia, or 3, or there about 20,000 capacity, and then they have the 60,000 capacity. In fact,
they made 6 available for this competition.
Let's talk about our own profession. 6,000 accreditation for media personnel. This is double the amount of the last AFCON. So what are we saying? The numbers gives it to this particular tournament, and want to say kudos and thumbs up to CAF and Motsepe.
Okay, kudos and thumbs up to Patrice Motsepe, the CAF president. By numbers, Patrice Motsepe has been able to garner more than what he did in 2021 African Cup of Nations. In the 2021 African Cup of Nations, we got only 7 sponsors, but 10 plus the numbers for this year's African Cup of Nations, and we are expecting potential billions, trillions in the sport market after this competition. Absolutely, absolutely. We should have seen the signs coming from the pre-tournament, the drama that happened with the broadcast rights and all of that, decentralizing it and basically making it way more accessible to the general African populace. That was, first of all, the very first big win for me in terms of the Motsepe administration. And I can't really even judge him on 2021 because we were just, coming out of a pandemic. Cameroon had to for holding the tournament alone, I think it's a thumbs up. Yeah, massive thumbs up, and even to the Ivory Coast, who were not the original intended host for this AFCON, but they had to take it over on such short notice, and they've done such a great job. And just like Kingsley said, this has been probably the best AFCON. This is definitely the best AFCON I've ever watched, but I'm just going to give a bit of space that just in case that's something else that happened. Come on, look at the TV rights. Come on, the numbers are speaking. The African Cup of Nations. 62 in 2021.
180 countries. And then, talking about also rights, giving out rights to other broadcast sponsors. This master stroke from Motsepe. And I just wish and hope that the only way right now should be up. We should just keep improving. And then I also love what the players are doing on the pitch. If you sell a product, even if you sugarcoat it, if it's not good, you can't sustain it. But right now, the football on the pitch, they've sustained that, and I think it's good for Africa. Sunday African Cup of Nations Côte d'Ivoire 2023 is indeed shocking the world. Look at the top goal scorer. He's 34-year-old and also plays in the Spanish 4th tier. He's 34. And surprisingly, he plays as a right back. Yes, plays as a right full back. And now we can see him topping the goal scoring chart. Yeah, Emilio Ashour has always played as a centre forward for Equatorial Guinea. Although it's not even particularly unique to Equatorial Guinea alone. We see it a lot where clubs that have one particular star player, they tend to just do whatever they like. We see with David Alaba for Austria, we see Alfonso Davies for Canada and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not particularly new, but for him to play this proficiently, to outscore nobody, not a single soul predicted that he will be top scorer at this tournament. Everybody went for the Osimhen, the Salah. Do you think the reason why he's the top scorer for Equatorial Guinea is because we do not have K. Kamara in the mix for Equatorial Guinea? Yeah, but most likely because he's all give the attention up front. But again, so it's a place of luck. No, is that what you're saying? Mixture of both. Mixture of both. He still has to take his chances, and he has been very, very clinical. I don't think he has missed a single big chance in this tournament. Once he gets in front of goal, you give him a chance, he will convert it, and that's really all you can ask for from any footballer. And massive shout out to Emilio. So even though I think their run is not going to go past the quarterfinals, but I think he has still done enough. Calm down, they're about to go against Guinea today, but it's all fine and good. Another surprising shocker there should be that Mauritanian player called AK-47. Now, his name is Abubakar Kamara, and he carries the number 47. So written at the back is written AK-47, another shocker at the African Cup of Nations. That's what we're serving. We're serving everything. We serve them hot on the field of play. Social media too is a factor here. Yeah. Now we have control of the stories that are coming up from Africa about this tournament. Come on, the Asia Cup is ongoing, but it's not as popular as the African Cup of Nations. It's taking every single thing. And I have to give you a shout out to CAF Online. That's the CAF's official Twitter handle. They've been doing a fantastic job. From the media, they documented the way each team arrived. They did media rounds for each of the teams. They did little promo videos where the Super Eagles were dancing. They did it for each of the 24 teams at this tournament as well. Everything is from the media perspective because that's our job, and it's just very, very. And we've taken the narrative away from the Europeans. Yeah, I think now subjective narrative. We have to put a call through to Jurgen Klopp and tell him this is not that so little tournament happening in Africa. This is the biggest thing right now when it comes to football. The other bigger leagues in Europe still on, La Liga, Serie A, EPL, FA Cup, but nobody's really talking about it. Nobody cares about what they're doing. Watching AFCON games ahead of the Premier League. Yes, and that's what this particular tournament has served us. This is a big win for Africa. I'm proud of CAF, I'm proud of the players, I'm proud of even the administration. Remember the last AFCON in Cameroon, we had issues concerning security and then, normally they got bad press and all of that. Right now in Ivory Coast, everything is going on so well and it works a lot for us in Africa. Yes, it works for us and it works for the Confederation of African Football, CAF.
President, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, serving us the very best AFCON ever. All right, let's move to the next story. We have the 2023 African Cup of Nations also opposing that myth about foreign coach superiority. Let me tell you for sure that the coaches that have been sacked in this competition, the numbers are foreign coaches. Now, this is taking that narrative away from foreign coaches being so superior, away from home-based coaches who are coaching the national teams. Coaches that have made it to the the round-up 16 of this competition have been home-based coach. Aliou Cisse, talk about Amir Abdou, who once coached Comoros and now is coaching the great ones who came up with a shock at the African Cup of Nations. And we did talk about Mali. Talk about they're home-based coaches.
Six groups. 5 of the teams that have topped these 6 groups have been coached by by African coaches. Now, I don't like it when you judge a man by just the color of his skin. And this is even, aside from even football and sport, it happens, in the world. I like what this particular AFCON, done for us. Has taught us a big lesson that when administrators walk into rooms and then want to have conversations with Africans, please judge him based on, what he can bring to the table. Not that, oh, this man is from Nigeria, you talk him down, then you go for the foreign coach. You look at even the numbers, the data. The last World Cup, 5 African teams were coached by, African coaches. And then that was the best ever outcome that we've had as Africans. Morocco went all the way to the semi-finals. I think Senegal, round of 16. The other 3 African teams, I think 2 of them had 4 points, 1 had 3 points.
Give a good account of
we've never had it, so good. Let's even come back to the Africa Cup of Nations. The 2 coaches that have won the AFCON 3 times are Africans. Charles Gyamfi, Ghana 3 times. Hassan Shehata, Egypt 3 times. We don't have the only man who is not African that would have done it. That's Javi Renard. He was knocked out, when he wanted to win it the 3rd time, was knocked out in the round of 16. So this myth, I like it that you called it a myth, is a myth. If anyone can get the job done, not minding wherever that person is from, give that man the job. And this might bring us back to Nigeria. Okay, but I won't talk about spectator.
If the foreign coaches can't even do this much, like the home-based, I do not like to call them local coaches because they're not local in any way. They're home-based, based at home at the national team sides. If the foreign coaches cannot do this much, why can't African teams understand that those who understand the language, who can speak languages that are bespoke, who can go on with training that are bespoke to national teams, should be given the job to head their national teams?
Yeah, I agree with you, although not all the way, because I don't think it should be an either-or situation. I think it should be a case of it should be a case-by-case basis. Who is more suited to the team, and are your tactics, are your ideologies representing what we want to achieve as a country? And lots of countries have been able to achieve that with home-based coaches. Namibia's coach remains the only Namibian to play Champions League football ever, and to be the biggest football star in the country, and then to now graduate to lead the country to their first ever AFCON knockout stage. That's just the stuff of dreams. They beat Tunisia to start the tournament, even though they are now out. They were well loved by Angola last time. But you can see the growth, development, see what Mauritania are doing, like you mentioned earlier as well. So yeah, the growth and development is there. But then also, maybe we might have to give Pesero a Nigerian passport.
I'm also trying to be a bit lenient here, because when you employ these coaches, when you sack them, they can also carry their experience to the domestic leagues. What do you think?
That's if you employ a local coach, a home-based coach, I think it works. If you keep it local, like you say, do what will help your immediate environment. You even look at these foreign coaches. When you bring most of them in 1 year, they might spend, say, 7-8 months outside the country, where they get to be paid from taxpayers' money. And that's why I don't really like it when you bring in a foreign coach. For me, I feel that if you're going to bring in a foreigner, the foreigner should also work with local coaches. Bring them in, let them bring their ideology and all of that. Like Tunde said, it shouldn't be either. It shouldn't be take this or you can do both. You can bring them in, but don't downplay on the efforts of the home-based ones. Don't downplay. Don't say, if you have the same kind of credentials, just give it to the man with the foreign skin. It shouldn't work that way. And also, let's not forget, football is not just what they do on the field of play. You can also feel the pulse. You can understand that, if something is going on back home, because I'm a Nigerian, I know how to really bring this into the Nigerian space and then tell the boys what to hear and all of that. So it works for you if you have someone that is, locally based, help the team, grow the team. It will also transcend that to also develop other coaches back home. So we shouldn't say, drop your local guy, take the foreign guy. The foreign guy can do it fine, but let's also work with the guys back home.
To whom much is given, much more is expected. That's what I would say here. We're hoping that African teams can learn, take a leap from the African Cup of Nations Côte d'Ivoire 2023 and give a chance to the home-based coaches. Let's go to our third story on the African news. Religion has been brought to football, and Egypt are brought to the fore right now. They've been experiencing a hard time at the African Cup of Nations with injuries back-to-back. First, it was their Egyptian god. That's Mohamed Salah. Then we had the goalkeeper, of course, El Shenawy. He had a shoulder injury and was right now we're not even sure if he will continue at the competition.
It's out for months, actually.
The Football Association had to go a leap higher into religion. Yes, they weren't religious about it. They had to kill a calf, share around to bring good tidings for them to stop the injury. Because not only Mohamed Salah got injured and El Shenawy, we had the coach, one of their coaches also got injured.
There was even a young, what's his name, Ashour, there about who did a backflip in training. Why are you doing backflip? And then he got injured. Yes. So I think they feel they've not done the necessary sacrifice. In 2008, they sacrificed a calf.
I want to pick your word there, necessary sacrifice.
They sacrificed a calf and they won the AFCON. So they're also trying to do it again.
What they're missing is that in 2008, they actually had talent. And there's a dearth of talent in the Egyptian squad right now. So if you like, sacrifice 200 cows, Congo will wipe you. I'm very confident about that.
Well, I think they are birds of a feather. They didn't win any game in the group stage.
Yeah. 3 points. There are only 2 teams that are winless in the knockout round.
At least one will go home today. So I feel, do what works for you. Do what works for you. If they believe, because the football is tactical, technical, then also mental. So if they feel that mentally, because we have not offered this sacrifice, that's why we are not doing well, let them offer the sacrifice.
Maybe to give the players confidence.
Yeah, they just going to and said, we have done the needful, so let's just go there and do it again.
But do those sacrifices win games? Because Egypt were one of the countries that did not win any of their games in the group stages and had less chances to.
They played 3 2-2 draws. They were very exciting to watch. They actually play well. You can see that their manager has a system and it's working to an extent. But like I said, that level of talent is just not there. Mo Salah was like their only world-class player. I mean, they have players like Mustafa Mohamed and Trezeguet who are can make a difference here and there, as they did against Cape.
They have 10 Al Ahly players in there, Mamouche. And you know that they're always gone blazing in the Egyptian Premier League, but I'm not seeing the same. Are these players just behind the glory of Mohamed Salah? But now he's out. Can we see a step up in the Egyptian
It might work both ways. There are times where you just believe one man can get the job done, get the ball to Mo Salah, and then when he's out, everybody will share the responsibility and play collectively and play more like a team. But like Tunde said, I don't think they have that kind of talent. Gone are the days where when the AFCON comes, Abutrika, Osama Zan, when they come in, you can't outplay the Egyptian team. You can't outplay. But right now, as exciting as they play, you see other teams at this tournament have played better. Cape Verde, even Equatorial Guinea, Senegal. We've seen Senegal play better than it wasn't. So when they won it back to back, the Egyptians were the team at the AFCON, but it's not that same way. Maybe it's 50-50 for me. I don't think they will lose. I think if they take their chances, they might beat, but I don't think they can go all the way like they used to do back then.
Sacrifice or not sacrifice, when one door closes, another opens for another. When El Shenawy is out, we would have Gabaski. Remember Gabaski?
Was
another chance for him to shine at the African Cup of Nations. Yeah, we've wrapped up our AFCON news at this time. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we're going to the field of play, all that happened. Of course, for the round of 16, 2 slots already guaranteed. We're waiting for the teams that will join up with the other 2. Don't go anywhere. AFCON Express continues. Welcome back. You're still watching AFCON Express. I am Onyinyechi Obaro, tracking updates from the African Cup of Nations, end-to-end stuff we've seen in Cote d'Ivoire 2023. If you blink, you will surely miss. Remember, you can join the conversation. Get to follow, like our social media platforms at News Central TV. Do not forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we want you to call in. Let's feel your feedback on the show. Also, get to call us on 070-5572-7272, 070-5572-7272. I've got still in the house, Kingsley Akpan and Tunde Young. Now it's time to go into the games we saw. First round of 16 encounters, of course, in the African Cup of Nations. Angola, yes, they are becoming a top contender at the African Cup of Nations. They stormed into the quarterfinals of the competition, defeating Namibia by 3-0. A clean sheet for Angola there. But I must say, all glory would be that wonderful Dala putting a brace for them. And Mabululu came through for the Angolans at them. But today, Coach Pedro has been with this team from the under 17 to the under 21 to the under 23. We are seeing a good project here of continuity. And that you can see the precedents from the African Cup of Nations. They are in their first quarterfinals since 14 years. After 14 years, they are picking their first quarterfinal ticket.
In fact, in my opinion, this is their first real quarterfinal because the previous two quarterfinals were straight from the group stages when it was still a 16-team format. But yeah, you cannot deny the level of progress that they were. Everything Kingsley said is true. They play with a 3-5-2 formation with Dala and Mabululu up front, but Fred is really the art of the team. He really dictates the way they play. Even their opening goal, Freddie started the move from the back and they somehow was able to still complete the move by giving the final pass. So the team is very cohesive. They understand what they're doing. They know they've been playing with each other for a long time. You can see that. But before we get to the Super Eagles part, I'm not worried, and I will say why later on. But for this Angola team, they are playing quite well. They've been one of the teams to watch in this tournament. They are one of only 9 teams that are still unbeaten. They are one of only 4 teams to have won 2 group stage games. So that's very, very satisfied with the quarterfinals. Be satisfied, it's fine.
All right, but you know that this team has gone to the quarterfinals here, and they did this without their star boy Nzola Mvala. He rejected the call when he was called by Coach Pedro to make the team to the African Cup of Nations. Well, people did say on social media that Angola's run to the quarterfinal was just luck, maybe the kind of team that they were grouped on there.
No. I doubt that, and I'm very happy they are doing this without Mbala and Zola because he would have been in this team and been the focal point of the team. We probably would not have seen Dala who has now scored 4 goals and Mabululu thing. This is actually quite painful, but I'm glad that we are having the best AFCON ever without you. And that's I'm talking to the likes of Anibal Mejbri, who turned down a chance to play for Tunisia to go on loan to Sevilla, where he has still not played. Lots of players, did this kind of thing before the AFCON, and I'm glad that we're having the best tournament without you. So the continent is bigger than any player. And
of course, the continent is sure bigger than any player. Big loss for Nzola, who did not acknowledge that invite by the Angolan Football Federation. Now let's talk about the 2 sides. Exciting one. Nigeria against Cameroon. 2 sides with different hashtag.
2000, 2002, 2004, their jersey alone will scare you.
They're very a young side by experience. I will not say by age.
No,
if you look at by age, Nigeria has got a younger side. Against Cameroonians.
And again, they've won the AFCON more recently than us, 2017 champions.
Well,
they still have the fabric of that squad together. They have, led by the captain Vincent Abubakar.
How's injured? So who are the guys?
Yeah, but they have to caveat this guy. I'm not saying in terms of talent. We are definitely a more talented squad.
Yeah.
Tell him.
But in terms of experience, I think it was pretty much balanced. Look, I'm not going to even take anything away from Pesero here. He has absolutely perfected his formation.
Torosime and Jordan Kudu. Jordan Kudu had none at all. No shot.
That's where I fault Song. And I say this about managers a lot, that when your plan A is not working, in-game changes, do something different. The moment where Olaino had Nkudu's number, what would you have done? Why not switch him to the other side?
It's great that he did not make it to Cote d'Ivoire because you would tell some of these things.
Tell Carl Tuke maybe to go into the middle, tell Maju to go to the left. Just tweak something, and he left it that way. Olaino enjoyed himself.
Listen to what Joseph Osiero, the coach of the side, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, who are into the quarterfinal, what he had to say. And for Rigobert Song, he turned into a lecturer saying there's a big difference between coach and manager. I won't tell you the difference. Let's listen to the coaches.
I'm very happy with my boys. One time more, he didn't suffer goals. Today, You scored 2. Our team, I think, did a very good job, very good game against a very good team. But I think you deserve to win today. Control and dominate the game. Or sometimes control more than dominate.
Tonight. This is very simple. We noticed that I really lacked, or my players lacked youth. I think youth play. We are not experienced enough. Lack of experience.
The faith of Coach Rigobert Sang's hang in the balance. We do not know what he stands to get at that result for the Indomitable Lions after their encounter against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But you must note, this Cameroonian team looked disjointed a bit.
Yeah, that's why I use the word not experienced enough. Because you look at the quality of players and then even where they play. Before now, when you say Cameroonian side, you can pick 3, 4, 5 players who play, with top sides. But aside from Zambo and Guisa, who played, with Napoli when they won, the Serie A last time out, I can see Carl Tuchel can be where I know there was a time where it was the highest transfer fee, African player. But right now, you look at the team, Castelletto, who are they, Ngamelu, all of these guys are just that tournament, and they meet the Super Eagles of Nigeria, we beat them again. So I let them just keep.
All right, let's just feel the pulse of the fans. They had a lot to say, especially Cameroonian fans, after that game against the Nigerian Super Eagles in Côte d'Ivoire. Our correspondent, Favour Itoa, who is live in Côte d'Ivoire, gave us those, felt their pulse there after the match. Let's listen to the fans, and when we come back, we know if the Super Eagles has got a chance against Angola in the quarterfinals.
Of injured, he might have brought a picnic basket because he had very little to do. Ademola Lookman, the strongest I've seen him play in this competition, 2 goals. Victor Osimhen didn't get to score, but you can see the reliance on him up front to make things happen. Convincing performance. A lot of people will start talking about the Super Eagles as possibly title contenders to do what they did 10 years ago in South Africa.
Nigeria score, we have to score again. And you wait until 18 minutes, you wait until 10 minutes at the end of the match to put your another players. How can you win? You have 5 attackers, striker in your band, and you don't put them on the field. How can you win? Today, we lost because of our coach.
Cameroon in the AFCON final in 1984. We've seen them various times in the 2000s and the 1990s. But this was supposed to be a blockbuster game, which I expected a lot of excitement between these two sides. I expected Cameroon to come into the game, attack a lot, create a lot of chances, getting a lot of goals. Then Nigeria also do their part, getting a lot of goals, create a lot of chances, and make sure that they win the game. But I think this game was a one-sided game in context. Looking at the quality that Cameroon has with a lot of experience. Talking about Ngodu in this team, you have Vincent Abubakar, you have Castelletto in this particular team, you have Fabrice Ondua in this team, Andrew Onana in this particular setup. I expected Cameroon to do much more better than what I saw them do in this particular encounter. Not to take anything away from the Nigerian team.
An expectant fan there, but at the end of the day, Cameroon have been sent packing away from the 2023 African Cup of Nations. I beg to ask Tunde, do Nigerians have a chance against Angola with all the performance yesterday? That was the best game at the African Cup of Nations by the Eagles so far. Do they stand a chance against Angola?
I think we're going as favourites. The question is, do Angola stand a chance against the 3-time champions of Africa? That's the question.
Too much pride.
We have earned the pride. We are about to do it again. Angola have never even done it before, so that exists for a reason. I think yes, we should not underrate Angola tactically. I'm not the coach. That's how I can talk like that. I don't expect the coach to be talking like this to his players. Obviously, the Nigerians know who they are. They know that on paper they are better than Angola, but you still have to take them seriously at face value of what we've seen at this tournament. They are a very dangerous team. But I do believe that we have it's a fair tactical match of us. The fact that we play 3-4-3, more like a 5-4-1 hybrid, and Angola play 3-5-2. I think the styles make fight, and I think their style is very well suited to how we play. and I think we're going to neutralize them because of that.
Okay, maybe we'll neutralize them, but let's look ahead. Today, we've got 2 games for the round of 16 encounter. What other 2 teams will join up with Nigeria and Angola in the quarterfinals? Equatorial Guinea will take on Guinea today. Guinea has got Emilio Nsue, who is the top scorer at this time at the African Cup of Nations, and they will take on Guinea. We've not seen the very best of Naby Keita for Guinea, but we're hoping that he can come through for them to give them this dance into the quarterfinal. Egypt will take on DR Congo. Just to join us in this conversation, we have one who has been there, done that in managerial skills for African teams and also European teams. We have a man who coached the Atlas Lionesses of Morocco and also coached in Guinea, coach in Mali, and is the current coach of the Singapore national women's team. We have Coach Karen Bencharifa joining us all the way from Singapore. Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Great one to have you here to share your wealth of knowledge. It's been a very interesting encounter at the African Cup of Nations, and today we did preview that Egypt will go up against DR Congo. I want to know your evaluation about Northern African teams in the competition so far.
Well, if we look at the history of African Cup of Nations, the North African teams always struggled in African Cup of Nations, especially when it's organized, not organized in North Africa. You see, Algeria have won the trophy in Egypt, and I think except Egypt, who have with the experience they have, and I think also the fact that they use always a lot of players who are playing in the continent rather than players who are playing in Europe, do help in this, because there is many factors that do affect the teams. We talk about the overall conditions of playing the African Cup of Nations became so tough for. One example, if you want me to give you, is like when Morocco played the RDC. We struggled. We suffered because it was in a very difficult timing of the match, and I think RDC was the better team on that match. So, with the exception of Egypt, I think the North African teams have always struggled, and I hope this time, especially with Morocco, in a good form, with a very good squad, and with the confidence they have, we can go all the way. And we had seen already that in the group stage, Algeria already out. Tunisia is out as the bottom teams of their group. So that's very important to mention.
Okay, we've seen Morocco. Morocco missed 7 big chances in this competition in the group stages of the African Cup of Nations. Now, this reminds me of Coach Rashid Tals's solution, which got them 3 title victory. What do you think the Moroccans need to do going into the next game, especially the round of 16 at the competition?
Well, we have to note that it's like a new competition will start, because in the group stage, the round of 16, the knockout game, is a different ball game. When you do mistakes, you can't cover them by other games. And I think Morocco do have the upper hand, because the capital confidence that Morocco is coming with, as looking at the achievement in the World Cup, and also I think a team like Morocco, but also we looked at Nigeria in the round of 16. There are teams who grow while the competition goes on, and I do expect the Moroccan team to be completely a different level than the group stage, because number one, they already acclimatized with the conditions. We're playing in the same city where we played group stage, and though it will not be easy against South Africa, it's also a very good team. But I think the knockout stage and overall the competition of this time is the way how you manage the the whole squad. It's not only about the first 11, but I think the timing of substitutions, the tactical part of it, because after seeing the game, how you're going to use the energy of the substitute players, but also is there things to change tactically to either keep the balance in the team if you are winning, or to change things around when you are in a defeat.
Okay, Egypt will go against DR Congo for the round of 16 encounter today. Egypt have been faced with a lot of injury worries, especially for their star man Mohamed Salah and star goalkeeper El Shenawy. How would Coach Rui Victoria be able to make the best of the absence of these two important players in going against DR Congo? Egypt have always had the upper hand against DR Congo, but today it's a different narrative, talking about what we've seen so far, the African Cup of Nations, Coach.
Well, looking at the performance of Salah in the whatever time he had in this camp, I think they still have enough power up front with some good strikers. Egypt always had good goalkeepers. We had seen it in the last African Cup of Nations, where the replacement, basically, of Shenawy did very, very well. And Egypt, I consider them as the specialists of the African Cup of Nations, because they are so good in dictating the tempo of the game, slowing it down what they want, speeding it when they want, and not only with the play, but they know how to have that mind game and when to show character and personality in the game, which sometimes irritate the opponent. So, but RDC showed against Morocco that they are a really good team with a lot of quality and a lot of speed up front. And I think it will be a very balanced match. I wouldn't be surprised if any of the teams advance to the next stage.
Okay, let's see. Cross our fingers there. You've heard from the coach, Karim Ben-Cherifa. He's looking at a possibility of any of the teams advancing. In quick seconds, Tunde, which of the team will get the upper hand today before we go back to coach?
I'm with DR Congo. Everything coach said is true, but I think DR Congo just have too much pace for them, and I think they are going to beat Egypt.
Hensley?
Well, the edge, based on what DR Congo did against Morocco, you know, African football, bringing in the strength and tenacity, maybe I might want to toe that line, but I still feel it's 50-50. Egypt, anyone who takes it, no worries. Okay. But for the other game, Equatorial Guinea, I really feel Equatorial Guinea has the edge. Okay, coach, finally, what team do you think will go all the way into the quarterfinals for today's encounter?
Looking at the history of Egypt, I still think Egypt will advance against RDC, though a lot of quality, a lot of power in this RDC team. Regarding the Guinea encounter, Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Conakry, I think I agree that they are, based on the group stage performances, I will give a slight edge for Equatorial Guinea, though I would say my heart will be more for Guinea-Conakry based on the time that I have spent there.
I'm very sure you have your heart and your head two different places. Thank you so much, Coach Karim Ben-Cherifa, for joining us on the show today.
A pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you always on the show. Coach has said it. His hat goes with Guinea because he spent some time over there in Guinea. But Equatorial Guinea still stands a chance with their star man, Emilio Nsue. It's been an interesting conversation here on News Central TV. I've been talking with them, Tunde Young and Kingsley Akpan. The man who doesn't love Jose Posiero, but he's going all the way at the African Cup of Nations. You can join in the conversation. Remember, you can follow our social media platforms at News Central TV. Do not forget, always engage the hashtag AFCON Express in the game and game on. I am Onyinyechi Obaro. We'll leave you with what you missed on social media. Bye-bye.